Could you please stand up? Babe.
Oh no, please no. Just when we thought that Gino was finally free of this insane dysfunctional relationship, Jasmine pulls this card.
Will you take me, as your fiance back again? Will you marry me?
I mean, what sort of proposal is that anyway? She's forcing the ring into his hand, for God's sake. Now, before we get into all this madness, let's just rewind back to the start of the episode. So when we left them last week, it was all over. Jasmine had dumped Gino, but obviously it was too good to be true. I mean, we all knew that Jasmine was never just going to let her golden goose walk out of her life so easily. And while Gino headed to the apartment all alone to pack his things, Jasmine had a change of heart.
What are you doing here?
Can we talk one last time?
Oh, Gino, why didn't you pack faster? You could have been on a plane out of there before Jasmine came back. Unfortunately though, he wasn't, and so Jasmine asks for a private conversation. She leads Gino out onto the balcony, bearing in mind they both know they're still mic'd up. But this is where Jasmine's grovelling begins.
I don't know what to do. I want to make this work, but I don't know how.
It's the same old cycle over and over again. Jasmine's temper flares up. She says these awful things, and then she comes back, tail between her legs, ashamed and asking for forgiveness. She's always crying about her trauma, about how her previous marriage, or her relationship with her father, has messed her up.
I have so much pain. I get angry, so angry, and I block my mind and I cannot think properly, baby.
But how can she not see that her actions right now are causing Gino trauma? What's that famous saying? Hurt people hurt people? It's just so applicable to this situation, isn't it? She knows she's no good for Gino. She knows this relationship is no good for her. Yet she doesn't want it to end.
The best that could happen to Gino was just to take a plane and forget about my existence in Panama and everything that we ever had.
That's quite the admission from Jasmine. She knows that from Gino's perspective, the best thing would have been for him to leave. But she also goes on to say, you don't know how much you love a person until you imagine them no longer in your life.
Like when he walk away, literally I get sick. I feel like I cannot be without him.
There's this great line that Lauryn Hill has in one of her songs, right? She says, how are you going to win if you ain't right within? That line just really reminds me of Jasmine. She's not right within, but I actually don't doubt that she loves Gino. It's just not a healthy love. It's obsessive. And until she learns how to love herself and love others normally, well, then this relationship won't work. The thing is, Jasmine's really good at pointing out her faults after a bad fight. And that is what gives Gino the glimmer of hope that she might change.
Your family is important, I get it.
Yeah, they are.
If I have to earn that place and be the most important person in your life, I'm gonna earn it.
I mean, it's all well and good seeing that now, Jasmine, but why couldn't you see that before the big fight? Obviously his family are important to him. Why was that so infuriating to her? It brings me back to what's going on within. It makes me question whether maybe the absence of her own family, the absence of her kids, might have something to do with that inner pain. But either way, having just said what Gino wanted to hear, it's looking highly likely that Gino is now going to take her back. But just in case there's any doubts, Jasmine has one more grand big gesture up her sleeve. She tells Gino to wait there, then quickly runs inside to grab something. And when she returns, she says,
Could you please stand up? Babe.
This is Jasmine's grand gesture to win Gino back. She's gonna re-propose to prove her love. But the gesture is meaningless. What's this proving? This doesn't mean that things are gonna get better. Their issues still remain. Gino not asked any more questions about Jasmine's admission she cheated on him? You just know that that is going to eat away at him. So regardless of her promises, regardless of saying what she knows Gino wants to hear, it's really difficult to take any of this seriously.
I know, baby, that I'm so messed up. And I'm so crazy sometimes. But I promise that I'm gonna change.
It's just Jasmine saying what Gino wants to hear again. We've heard this promise from Jasmine before, but unfortunately, it's checking all of Gino's boxes. It's exactly what he wants to hear. Jasmine's on her knees, putting him in a position of power. She's admitting her faults, and she's telling him she needs him, she loves him. And then, on top of that, she pulls out the icing on the cake.
The engagement ring that you give me, I'm sorry for being a bitch and wanted you to upgrade this ring.
Oh my gosh, it gets worse. The engagement ring that she pretended to lose so that she could get Gino to buy her a bigger, more expensive ring is now somehow the symbol of her love. How ironic. And speaking of which, isn't Jasmine struggling to open the box because of her gigantic fingernails also the perfect representation of their relationship? Her materialistic nature just doesn't fit with Gino's plain and humble lifestyle.
For me, this ring is priceless, and not even all the money in the world can buy it, because this is from the love of my life.
What bull are you talking, Jasmine? You were ashamed to wear that ring. You were hiding it, pretending it is lost. I just find it hilarious that her big gesture is now admitting that Gino doesn't need to upgrade her ring to prove that he loves her.
I don't really believe that she lost the engagement ring.
That's what I did. I accidentally lost it.
There's no acknowledgement or any remorse for her lying about losing it in the first place. But Gino doesn't seem to care. He's loving what he's hearing.
Will you take me, as your fiance back again? Will you marry me?
Now, for Jasmine, this is her way of showing Gino that she's serious about self-improvement. She's down on one knee, she's accepting the original ring. Her actions are saying here that she's going to try and be less materialistic. She's going to try and appreciate what she has. So, what do you think? Does Gino say yes? Obviously, he says yes.
Of course I will. Forever and always.
This is supposed to be a sweet moment, yet all I feel is dread for these guys. Don't get me wrong, I've got zero sympathy for Gino. He deserves what he gets. He's had the chance to walk away many times, yet he always chooses to forgive her and believe her when she says that she will change. But a leopard never changes its spots. She hasn't changed in the 2 years that they've been together. It's hard to believe she's gonna start now.
Yeah, I'm gonna change, baby. I promise. Give me a chance. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna calm down.
I believe you.
It's so easy to make promises, but actions speak louder than words. What exactly is Jasmine gonna do to change? In a way, Gino seems perfect for Jasmine because she's all talk, no action, and Gino seems content with just talk. If Jasmine says something, he's just willing to accept it on face value every single time. And we see this again as they celebrate their re-engagement.
For us to work to fix any problems we have, and so we can have a long-lasting relationship.
Isn't that exactly what he was saying when he first arrived in Panama? He went there determined to fix their issues, yet here they are at the end of his trip, toasting to solving the exact same issues that now seem even worse. It's as if Gino just expects their problems to magically disappear, without any real understanding of what it will take to solve them. But when we join them the next morning, it's time for Gino to return to the States. And the only issue they appear to have solved is where Jasmine will be living.
We decided to find a place cheaper, but instead of renting a place that is monthly, Gino agreed to have a lease for 6 months.
I guess that's a good compromise. Jasmine gets the stability that she wants, while Gino gets to cut costs. Although how much he's actually saving is up for debate, because he seems to be handing out cash to her left, right and centre.
Oh, that's yours.
It's mine.
I left it for you. I want you to have a little cash on you.
And thank you for the 1,000 you sent me this morning.
For Gino, you get the impression that the new apartment might not have been to do with money as much as it was to do with the fact that he wanted her away from her ex. The ex that she may still be sleeping with. Either way, when we join them in the back of the cab on the way to the airport, both are trying their best to convince us that this whole experience has left their relationship stronger than ever.
It was like probably the most productive trip I've ever had. With Jasmine, you know, we overcame a lot.
There's delusion, and then there's Gino and Jasmine. So with the K1 still up in the air, these two will be separated for an unknown period of time. Being apart from one another doesn't really work for them, but we know that being together doesn't work for them either. But something truly magical happens as Gino heads through airport security.
All right. I'll see you soon, okay?
Jasmine is emotional, but guess what? That is not the real story here. Did you see Gino's haircut? It perfectly symbolises this relationship. It's